Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is James.
And I'm Ashley.
And we're here to provide an overview of the InterExchange school teaching assistant programs in France, Italy, and Spain.
Today, James and I are going to tell you about InterExchange and how we can set you up with a teaching assistant placement supporting local teachers in a European school. We'll talk about eligibility, the application process, support provided, costs, where you'll be living, and more. As we go through the presentation, please feel free to submit questions in the chat field next to the YouTube video, and we'll get to those a little bit later on.
So, who is InterExchange? We are a nonprofit organization based in New York City. We are designated by the U.S. Department of State as a sponsor for exchange visitor visa programs in the United States. And for more than 40 years, we've been supporting participants from all over the world here in the U.S. Also, we help U.S. citizens connect with work, volunteer, and educational exchanges overseas. So that's where you come in. We do have one-to-one advising calls with all of our participants, and if you ever have questions, you can call us at 1-800-597-3675 or email us at workabroad@interexchange.org. Our team is here Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 5:30 Eastern Time. And if you're in the New York City area, you're welcome to come to our office. Just contact us to set up an appointment.
So if this is your first time teaching abroad, this is a really good option because you won't be the main teacher. You will have a chance to deliver lessons and you'll receive feedback from a local teacher, but you'll never be alone. A teaching degree and experience are not required to participate, but it's definitely helpful if you've done something related, such as tutoring. Mainly, you just need an open mind and an interest in working with youth. This is a short-term volunteer opportunity for individuals who are interested in gaining classroom teaching experience without the pressure of being the main teacher.
And there's also a lot less pressure because you won't be full-time, right, Ashley?
Right.
Right, so you're going to assist at a local school for about 15 or maybe 20 hours per week, helping students with their conversational English.
That's right. So as a native English speaker, the idea is that you can help students with their speaking and listening skills. You might take the lead on some activities or teach small breakout groups. Your specific role will depend on the school and the teacher that you're working with.
So again, this is a volunteer opportunity, but your housing and meals are free. You'll stay with a welcoming host family that lives close to the school, and these are generally teachers or parents that are part of the school community who are volunteering to host you. In most cases, they do appreciate if you can provide some informal English tutoring to their kids, but typically just an hour a day or even less.
And in terms of duration, you can participate for as little as 4 weeks or as long as 12 weeks. So this is a really great option for those who don't want a long-term commitment.
So let's talk a bit about where you can go.
Right. So currently participants on our France program assist at local schools in the suburbs of Paris or Marseille. Placements are within a metro ride to the city center, so you'll definitely have time to explore Paris or other places in your free time. The light schedule is really great for this, and it's something that participants really appreciate about the program. Applicants must be between 19 and 35 and have a bachelor's degree in any subject, or you can be a current college student. No French language skills are required, though knowing some basics is certainly going to be helpful in your day-to-day. Our partner in France, Akai International Services, screens all the schools and host families, and they're available for support should you need it. James, you recently visited a couple of schools in France. What was your impression?
Yeah, so I actually met with a participant and the local teacher she was working with not too far from Versailles. They actually made a really great team. You could tell that she was going to be missed when she left. And that was about 45 minutes west of Paris, which is kind of like a daily commute for us here in New York and a lot of Parisians too. So great location.
Nice. So in terms of the program fee, it's $9.95. And you may be wondering, why do I have to pay to volunteer? The fee covers the administrative costs of running the program. So all the pre-departure support, placement in a screened host family and school, as well as in-country support from our partner.
And I would add one thing, which is that if one of your goals is to improve your French proficiency, you can do that on your program, of course, but as an alumni, you'll also have access to our free language partner program, where we connect US citizens with international participants in the US for informal one-to-one language exchanges. And this is the case if you're on the Spain or Italy programs too.
Other costs to consider include your airfare, travel health insurance, which will give you some affordable options to consider, and any personal spending money that you'd like.
Great. And the second country where we offer this program is Italy. In Italy, the majority of placements are in the La Marche region, which is a beautiful region about 4 hours northeast of Rome. La Marche is filled with these little hilltop towns like Civitanova and Macerata, and some of them are right along the coast. So it's also one of the safest areas in Italy. These are usually smaller towns, but close enough to cities like Florence and Bologna. So a lot of participants will actually connect with each other through our Facebook group and organize weekend trips.
And the Facebook group is a great thing to have. Sometimes we'll post useful information or fun articles, and our participants have used it to connect with each other and find out who is close by in their region. We'll also connect you with participants in your area outside of Facebook.
Great. So applicants for the teaching assistant program in Italy must be between 21 and 35 and have a bachelor's degree, again, in any subject, or you can be a current college student. Cost considerations are the same as for France, and Italian language skills are not necessary for the Italy program either, but it's good to practice a bit before you go. We're going to get to some questions in a few minutes, probably about 5 minutes here, so don't forget you can ask questions in the chat field. What do we have next, Ashley?
So the third the third country we offer this program is in Spain. The majority of placements are just north of Barcelona in the Maresme region, where both Spanish and Catalan are spoken. The program duration is 8 to 12 weeks, depending on when you start. Applicants must be between 19 and 35 and have a bachelor's degree, again, in any subject, or be a current college student. No Catalan or Spanish language skills are required. Again, we always encourage that you brush up at least on some basics, because it's really helpful in your day-to-day. In Spain, you'll be supported by our partner, Sabatica.
Great, and that's a beautiful part of the country. You were just there, Ashley. What were your thoughts?
I really loved it. I met up with our partner and a couple participants in October. The Maresme region is right along the coast, so it's really beautiful. And I liked that it didn't feel overwhelming like a big city, but that Barcelona is only a short train ride away, about 30 minutes. So how are we going to support you? InterExchange will provide pre-departure resources, including sample lesson plans and teaching tips.
And regarding the lesson plans, we again would want you to know that you are not expected to come up with a curriculum, but it's nice to have some lesson ideas for your first few days at least. Some people come up with an introduction to themselves, where they're from, and think about the English phrases needed for that. So our lesson samples will have those kinds of ideas and others as well.
And again, before you leave, we'll connect you with other participants through our Facebook group. Many participants use it to share tips and plan trips on the weekends. In country, you'll have the support of your host family who can help you navigate your new home. You'll also have support from our in-country partner. Before you leave the US, you'll receive their contact information and they'll check in with you periodically as well. At school, you'll have a designated school coordinator. This person is usually the main English teacher that you're supporting, and that person will be able to provide you with feedback during your program also.
And of course, InterExchange is always here for you too, and we love to hear from participants during their programs. So this is a great way to explore the teaching profession or add to your current teaching experience. It's also a great way for those who may not want to be a teacher but enjoy working with youth and want to help others while exploring another culture. A seasoned teacher will be by your side for support. They'll also provide professional feedback that will be documented for you.
Another benefit is that you'll experience the host country more deeply than a tourist because you'll be living with locals. Our host families are carefully screened and really excited about cultural exchange. they're volunteering to open their homes to you, so all your living expenses are covered, which is really nice.
And when you return, you'll be joining alumni community and gain access to our language partner program, alumni news, and other resources.
So how do you apply? You'll simply click the blue sign up button on our website, which is www.interexchange.org, and you'll fill out a few brief web forms, upload the required program documents such as a copy of your passport, and submit a $250 deposit.
And we'll reach out to you to go over the program and answer any questions that you have at that point. Then we'll start the school and host family matching process. You will receive placement details before you leave the US, so you can contact your family and school in advance. And we'll also send you pre-departure resources, including the sample lesson plans. At that stage, when you are all confirmed with your host family and school, you'll then pay the remainder of the program fee, and then you'll go ahead and book your flights. Of course, we do remain available at that stage if you have any questions leading up to your program. So now we're going to take some time to go over a few questions. Again, please feel free to submit questions if you're watching in YouTube. There is a live chat field, and we'll also, yes, we'll be happy to cover your questions during this presentation. So let's go over a couple questions now. What do you think, Ashley?
Yeah, so one of the top questions I receive is, can I participate in the summer? And unfortunately you can't, because schools in France, Italy, and Spain are closed then. But we have multiple start dates throughout the fall and spring, so please check our website to find upcoming dates.
Not to mention, we do have our conversation coach programs, so if you are interested in summer experiences, we have those in the summer, Spanish immersion in Latin America, and a lot of other options, so just give us a call and we'll be happy to help with that. Maybe we can talk a little bit more about the host families. Do most of them speak English? Is there a language barrier?
So it's common for at least one of the parents to speak some English, and usually the kids are starting to take it in school and have a basic level at the time that you arrive. But knowing the host country's language is not a requirement. But knowing some basics is certainly going to help. And there are a ton of free apps such as Duolingo to practice. I'm using that right now to work on my Spanish, and it's really helpful. But don't worry if you don't know much. Most of our participants don't speak the host language, and even though it's challenging at times, they still have really enjoyable experiences.
That's true. So language skills aren't required, but we think that you'll have a more enriching experience if you do learn a few of the basics, which even just learning a bit is a window of insight into the local culture. So we think it's a really good idea. A lot of people ask about traveling during the program. Obviously, when you're in another country, as beautiful as Italy or Spain or France, you want to travel and soak up as much of the culture as you can. So these programs are based in specific regions, but do participants travel a lot during the programs? Can you maybe address that a bit?
Sure. So definitely, especially on the weekend when they have a block of time. It is a serious volunteer commitment, and that your school expects you to be there. But usually, you do have some flexibility during the week for some local trips to explore your area, and definitely on the weekend. And all of these countries are well networked with trains and buses, so it makes it really convenient to get out and about.
What about the school placements? So what does the schedule look like? We talked about 15 to 20 hours a week or so. Can you specify a little bit more?
Yeah, so it will definitely depend on the school and the school needs. But it could be that you're coming in just for a few hours, Monday through Friday. I've also heard some participants say that they only go in, a few days a week, and they work out their hours within those 3 days. Like I said, we will give you your school coordinator's contact information so you can reach out and talk about your schedule. And you'll certainly have time when you're there, your first day, you'll sit down with them and thoroughly go over your schedule. But definitely it's it's flexible, so you have time to explore.
So in other words, it's flexible, and every experience is unique depending on the school where you're going to be placed.
Exactly.
And I think one of the nice things is that in addition to teaching, One day they might say they've got an after-school program of some kind or some kind of a festival, and they might ask if you'd like to be a part of it. So there's often ways to get involved locally with the school or the community on your program, which is just a really nice way to kind of engage further with locals. And then in terms of the grades, we said there's a possibility to assist at multiple levels, right?
That's right. So you could be assisting a kindergarten class as well as a sixth grade class. And the reason being is that you may be the only native English speaker at the school at that time, and they really want to have students gain as much exposure as possible. And the nice thing about that is that you get to meet a ton of students. And a lot of participants say they like having that diversity and experience and exposure to different levels.
Now, I guess one question that a lot of people might ask themselves is why would you participate in this type of short-term teaching as an assistant instead of kind of jumping more into the full-time, year-long paid teaching experiences in another country?
I think this is a really great way to explore if teaching abroad in the future is something that you want to do and something that you would commit to long term. As we said, this is short term, and you have the support of an experienced licensed teacher. So it's a really great way to learn, get your feet wet, see if this is something that you'd like to do. And also maybe you have other commitments that prevent you from being away for a longer term contract. So this is a great way to not miss out on this great experience simply because you don't have a ton of time to commit to something.
Yeah, I like that, and I like the idea that if you're committing to a shorter time with a local teacher, that's kind of a more responsible approach if you haven't necessarily taught abroad before. You're not suddenly throwing yourself in front of a large group of students as their main full-time teacher. So that's comforting, I think, to know that there is a teacher there who's present, not only to kind of jump in and help with managing the class, but that teacher can oversee your performance as a participant and give you feedback throughout the program as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. And think about when you were a student, like you want the most prepared teacher, and this is a way to responsibly teach English abroad. And while TEFL certificate, which is teaching English as a foreign language, is not required to participate in this program, we definitely recommend it. It'll just help you feel that much more comfortable in front of your students and really give you insight to how students learn who are coping with adjusting to a new language. I got TEFL certified before I went to South Korea to teach, and it definitely helped me a lot.
Nice to think about kind of the theory of teaching before you get that hands-on experience as well. And for those who are interested in maybe doing a teaching English as a foreign language course online or live before their program, you can visit interexchange.org/TEFL, interexchange.org/TEFL for information on some great options for doing a course before you go.
Another question that often comes up is, can I stay longer than 12 weeks, which is the maximum length for this program? So US citizens are only allowed to remain in the Schengen area, which includes France, Italy, and Spain, and several other countries, for up to 90 days. So that's why we cap the program at 12 weeks. That way you don't have to go through all the red tape of getting a visa. You can enter simply with your US passport.
Great, yeah, and that 12 weeks is 84 days. So even if you were going to do kind of the maximum, there still could be a few days where you could go and explore another city. But a lot of participants do like to maybe limit their experience to 10 weeks and then build in a couple of weeks to go traveling, maybe meet family afterwards or friends. And again, a lot of times people connect with other participants who are teaching near them. We will connect you with anybody else that we have in the area. And that includes school teaching assistants, but we also might have participants on other programs through InterExchange. So we'll connect you. You'll also be able to connect through our Facebook group. And that's just a great way to meet some other people from the US, in addition to, of course, engaging with your local community. So I think that covers a lot, and maybe we can wrap it up for the day. But thanks for those of you who joined us out there. And again, if you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to InterExchange. Our contact information is up on your screen, 1-800-597-3675, workabroad@interexchange.org. Thanks again, and we look forward to hearing from you.